Hello, everybody. It's time to talk Raging Cajun softball. My name is Steve Peliquin with the brand new coach of Louisiana's Raging Cajun softball team, Coach Gerry Glasco. First off, how does it feel to be introduced as the new head softball coach at the University of Louisiana?
Oh, it feels wonderful. It's just really been an amazing 3 days, getting to meet the community and the staff and the girls and be a part of the community, and really excited about the future.
You have a great track record, great resume. We'll talk about that. What attracted you to the program here at UL?
You know, it's amazing. The softball program here is amazing in so many ways. None more, though, than when we played here, the fan base and the excitement, enthusiasm of the fans, really what just always attracted me to this program. I always told my wife, I said, you know what they do? They feed you and they beat you. And I always thought it was pretty cool how when you're walking in, people are trying to give you food and feed you at their tailgates, and the fans just make the game so much fun for even the opponent's teams. So that's one of the great things about this program and the history of it. Obviously, it's a great program. It's been extremely well ran for many years, and the girls know how to win. The culture is winning. All the things you look for in a coach. And it's a team that absolutely gives you a chance to go to the Women's World Series every year and even win the World Series, which is what we want to compete to try to do someday.
Softball is a small world, though it's a close-knit world. How does outside of Louisiana do they view this program? I mean, I know it's not from a Power 5 conference, quote-unquote, a mid-major school, but is it viewed as a major school in the softball world?
Oh, absolutely. It's a powerhouse program. Nobody wants to come here in the regional or the super regional and play. People do want to come here and play, though, because it's such a good environment for softball. And I remember reading an article about the top 5 places to play, to attend a college softball game, and this was number 1 on that list. So, yeah, it's known all over the country. The atmosphere here that's been created is respected and revered all over and emulated. Everybody wants to emulate what they have here.
Without getting too much into details, but you brought them up at your press conference, so I'm going to bring them up. A couple of former UL greats. One of them, Allison Habits, who was a softball great here and also scored 1,000 points in women's basketball. And, of course, the great Yvette Girard, who's in like every Hall of Fame known to softball. You said that they helped you out a little bit, in terms of you making the decision to come here. How so, without, getting too much into detail? Just share what you want to.
Well, they both obviously are well respected in the softball community. Yvette is a legend in our sport, who I've always respected from a distance. And I hadn't had the opportunity to really get to know her, and I look forward to really getting to know her in the coming years. I look forward to being on the same team with her, so to speak. And she'll be someone I know that I can go to and get insight into the community, the program. If I have a tough coaching decision to make, I know she's someone I'll be able to call and get great advice from. So that was a big attraction to this program. Allison has just been a phenomenal mentor to me since back when I was coaching travel ball. She'd sit and we'd talk about things on the sidelines, and just been a really good friend, a close friend. A couple times I've got out of line coaching or did something that I shouldn't have did, more than likely. She's real quick to tell me and say, hey, you can do that better. You're better than that. And I respect that so much. And she's been someone that's been like a mentor to me. Her and Coach Murphy, who has a history here. Coach Murphy's it's just been super to me over many years, and I greatly respect him as well. But Allison's someone I know will have my back, and she'll be a step ahead of me, always taking care of me and being sure I'm staying on the line that the girls here need me to be on, and help me to be a better person, a better coach for the young ladies in our program.
You also made another interesting statement, I thought, in the press conference, but talking about that you picked the girls, and I thought that was a very interesting analogy because from now on you're going to pick the girls because you're going to recruit, but it's a little bit different this time around. Has there been a team meeting so far? And there's been a lot of talk about transfers, potential transfers. Could you tell us if you expect a number of girls, without getting any specific number, to remain Cajuns?
Yeah, we had a team meeting yesterday, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that these girls, it's unique in that they didn't get to choose who their coach was. They lost one of the greatest softball minds that's been involved in a college game in the last few years, and someone that is well respected and I've always had respect for as a softball mind and a softball person. And you know, it's a difficult transition for them. I think it's extremely important to acknowledge that. And they didn't get to choose me, but I chose them, and I am fully committed to giving them everything I can possibly give them to try to be what they deserve and what they need. As far as transfers, you know, I hope every kid stays here. Obviously, that may or may not happen. There's a number of girls, maybe everybody on the team at some point has probably considered what their best interest is in the future. And we're just going to deal. All I told the girls was, look, let's get to know each other. Let's be calm. Let's stay as non-emotional as we can. And let's really look at and try to find out what's best for each one of them individually. And I have confidence that it's just too much. There's too much here to offer. I have confidence that we're going to hold, you know, if not all of them, almost every one of them. And that's my goal, and my job is to make that happen if it's possible. At the same time, I want the girls to have the freedom to know that, hey, I get to make choices here. And so we'll deal with it step by step, and I have really high confidence in the future.
New Raging Cajun head softball coach Gerry Glasco, our guest. Describe your coaching style. You're known as an offensive coach. Number one, would you agree with that? And number two, how has softball changed over the years? You know, let me get to that second question first. Do you agree that you would consider yourself an offensive minded type of coach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm a coach that's not going to bunt until the late innings if I have to win a game. I'm not going to play for one run an inning. I'm going to play for 3 or 4. Try to break an inning open. I want to have big innings. I love to hit the ball hard. You know, we talk about home runs, but I like doubles. Doubles in a gap will score. You know, an error and a double will score. A single and an error, a single and a double will score. A walk and a double will score. Doubles are the key, and if you get the double elevated, it becomes a home run. So that's my philosophy: is we're trying to hit the ball in a gap off the wall. And if it gets elevated, we know it's going to go over the fence. And we also want to be a good offensive team in the sense that I want a lot of walks. I want my team to have more walks than strikeouts. I want my team to have a great eye at the plate. I want my team to be very intelligent in their approach to hitting and know the situation. If you're leading off an inning, it's maybe a different situation than if it's bases loaded or it's second, third with 2 out. So we want to be I want my girls to be empowered with knowledge and to have a great understanding to their mental approach, but very much offensively minded as a coach.
Do you think that softball has certainly changed? People talk about the ball being livelier and whatnot, and nobody cares about my philosophy, but I'll give it to you anyway. I think that probably 15 years ago, everybody wanted to be a Jenny Finch, and now it's different. I think girls grow up now, and they want to be the girl that hits the ball out of the ballpark. Do you agree with that, and do you see softball continuing to be more of an offensive type of game?
Yeah, definitely. 15 years ago, games were won 1-0, 2-1, and the hitting technique in girls softball has just advanced immensely, and the use of film has made it so much easier to teach girls how to swing efficiently and how to swing correctly. And so the players today just have a much more high-level swing and swing mechanics than they did back 15, 20 years ago. On the other hand, you know, the pitching, I think, has probably somewhat subsided and stayed pretty level. It's really hard to be a pitcher, and I think in this day and age of Nintendo and phones that we text and we play games on our phone, I think kids, there's not as much incentive to be out there and be a pitcher and do all the work it takes to be a pitcher. So I think while pitching has stayed somewhat level, I think the hitting has advanced immensely from the coaching and the ability to coach players due to video.
You've had a number of stops. You've been at the SEC level for a number of years, and I don't mean to bypass your stop at Auburn, but you've only been there 2 months. But 9 years at Georgia, 3 years at Texas A&M, and of course you've coached some very successful teams in the NPF. what you know when selling yourself to this university, how did you sell yourself in terms of maybe they ask you the question, why does Gerry Glasco deserve this job?
Well, when they called, I just answered their questions. I mean, the questions they had were more, I think there were a lot of concern to be sure they had a coach that would really develop the players and develop personal relationships and long-term relationships with the players. And I think that was the most important perspective. I think they already knew that that they knew my softball coaching skills, and they knew that I knew how to win. They knew that I knew how to develop players, obviously from my time as a hitting coach at Georgia and at Texas A&M. So for me, it was more of dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's to how would I handle the personnel. They were looking for someone that would really be able to connect with their players and give their players, they were really concerned that the players would be developed as a student athlete into an empowered young woman, which has always been my goal as a coach. I think it's my main priority. And so that was more of the things that we talked about in the interview.
Yeah, has there been a biggest influence for you as a coach in terms of how you developed your philosophy, or anybody that taught you anything more about the game? And I know that there's probably a million names running through your mind right now because you don't want to leave anybody off, but has there been a biggest influence in your coaching career?
Well, Coach Lou Harris at Georgia and her assistant at the time, Coach Sharon Perkins, who later went to Georgia Tech and was an outstanding coach for Georgia Tech. But Sharon and Lou were really, I think, the two college coaches that had the most effect on me because they reached out a lot while I coached travel ball. And, both of them have been really good friends to mine over many years. Allison has always been a mentor and given me a lot of input. There's so many people, I hate to even start trying to name them because you'll leave people out. But without a doubt, Coach Lou and Sharon, I think, are two of the ones that really had an effect on me getting into college coaching and encouraged me when I was a travel ball coach to, that I was different, that I had a gift and to use it.
About three more final questions for you. Then you head softball coach of Louisiana's Raging Cajuns, Gerry Glasco. Now, I know that you've seen the facilities, here before as a visitor, but obviously you came in and took a look at the facilities and see what you were going to be recruiting to and, coaching in and whatnot. What do you think about the overall facilities here, just in terms of the weight room and the student academic center and everything that comes into place? How do these facilities compared to some of those in the SEC, and was it what you were expecting?
Oh, it's blown me away. There's nothing mid-major about University of Louisiana and what they offer our student athletes. The Student Academic Center was just amazing. Blew me away. The strength and conditioning facility that apparently is just a year old or so, it's on par with anything that I've ever been in. And just going to be a phenomenal opportunity for me to recruit by using that to show our athletes the location of it, how close it is, the proximity of everything to the softball field is just really going to make a student athlete's life here so much easier. And things that I can sell to recruits here it's on par with anything that I've been to or that I've seen.
Lafayette, how much did that play? I mean, I know the university is one thing, but the community is another. Did the community and where you're going to be living, where your family is going to be living, how much did that play a part in your decision?
It's huge. I call people, and everybody, when I was just first start looking at everybody, I said, "Oh, you'll love Lafayette." Without exception, every single person I called would say, you and your family will love Lafayette. And I'm kind of a country guy. I like to hunt. I like to fish. I like to be out in the woods. And so I've been just thrilled. I'm thrilled to be here. And then once I got here, it's just overwhelmed me in every way, the friendliness and the kindness that people have shown us and how they were welcoming us into the community.
Two final questions. Number one, you mentioned your staff, and you said that maybe 2-3 days. I don't want to hold you to that, but you feel pretty confident that you're going to, I assume, put together a staff pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah, my staff's actually already put together. We're just waiting. They're all coaches, and so we're going to give them time. So we're going to keep it top secret.
So
yeah,
it's not me.
Yeah, no, you're out. I'm starting to like you, but you're out. No, but we're just going to give them time to do it the right way, and we're in a situation where we don't have to be in a hurry. They don't have to be pressured, and they can do. It's the holidays right now with Thanksgiving, and we're going to handle it how they feel best. And I think we'll talk tonight. I'll talk to each one of them, and they'll give me a timeline, and then we'll move as quickly as we can, but with respect to their athletes.
Finally, obviously this wasn't a great time to be, adding a softball coach. It's certainly, we hope that it winds up that way, and I would assume that it's going to work out that way. But missing the fall and a new coach coming in, how much will that put you behind the 8 ball, if at all, as you head into the spring and when you start practicing in January? Is that an issue at all?
Not an issue. It's just a challenge, and we're going to live up to that challenge, and we're going to overcome that challenge. It won't be an issue in any way, shape, or form. We're going to start practice on day 1 in January with a full intention to be at the College World Series in Oklahoma City and compete for the national championship. And we don't need any reason to. Nothing about what the situation scares me in that sense.
Got me fired up. I appreciate you. Joining us here. I know you're a busy man. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Lafayette. Welcome to the Yale community. And I could say that because I'm a graduate. But we appreciate your time, and good luck, and wish you success over the next 20-25 years.
Thank you very much, and go Cajuns.
There you go. That's the new head softball coach of Louisiana's Raging Cajuns, Gerry Glasco.